to Stokes with Brian and Ariana. It's about to get real, you better believe me. Just got married, trying to make it through life. See, with her faith, honesty, and respect, we'll get through anything. Stoked to be the Stokes, yeah.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Stoked to be the Stokes with Brian Lamar Stokes.
And Ariana Stokes.
It's a double date again.
Yes, my fave. And this week we have with us the Cancholas. We have Pastor Eddie and Joanna. They're joining us.
How's it going?
You got some more?
No, that's the only song.
That sounds
Drake.
good.
That's a Drake song, no? Isn't
That
it?
sounds good. Write it down. Write it down.
Jake has a song named The Controllers?
We'll talk about it later.
Oh, okay.
My daughter thought that's what it said.
Every time.
Oh,
but it's really
yeah.
controller.
Oh, okay. She thought it was about her.
Yeah, she
That's
should.
funny. I don't know Drake like that.
Go ahead, Aaron.
Okay, so like you said, we have a double date episode, so we're gonna skip the whole something to chew on because we want to just jump into the meat of it. We know Pastor Eddie and Joanna from our church. You guys know we talk about our church all the time.
On Nations Worship Assembly, San
Bernardino.
Bernardino.
Yes, and where they serve there and are in leadership, and so they've been a great example. And we wanted to talk to them about a number of things from marriage to parenthood. They have two beautiful children, and also ministry, and just finding the balance in it all. So first of all, of course, we want to hear your love story. How did you meet and where? What did that whole process look like? How long have you been married?
8 years.
8 years.
8 years.
Okay, that's awesome. That's our longest running couple so far,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yay.
8 years. So y'all are our vets for the show so far.
Wow.
So how did you guys meet?
Okay, so had a friend from high school, and she said she was going to a new church, and she wanted me to go because she was shy. So I went, and he was the youth leader. And I don't know, we just started talking, and then I don't know, just became like best friends.
So he was a youth leader. You were the youth?
But it was a different church. It was in my church.
It was different from your church.
Yeah.
You were just visiting. Okay.
Yeah.
That don't change the math. Okay.
But then he went to my church.
Oh, you moved for her, or you?
Yeah,
just
for
happened to-
her.
Oh.
Yeah. So the friend that we both knew in common, that we had friends in common, but so she had just started going to the church, and I was kind of encouraging her to come and be part of the church, feel more at home, and so that's where Joanna stepped in. It was kind of like, for you to go, I'll come. I'll come with you. And so the church that we were at that moment, the one I was serving at, it was an old church. Oh. So the building was very old, right? And I was always the first one to get there. I would open up the door, walk in. And it's like we don't have to walk in through the kitchen, right? There's this deep hallway. Then you get to this little room. There's a sanctuary and then like a room on the side, and that's where we used to have our youth service, right? So I walk in there and I see this person just sitting there. And I was like, guys, like the guys that were with me, I'm like, so she says there's an angel, but I thought it was a ghost, right? Because I was like,
I thought he was about to say, I saw the most
Right,
beautiful.
that's
He's
I
like,
thought she was a ghost.
It's a
because
ghost
it was
in here.
an old building, right? So I'm
There's the
sitting here
Holy
like,
Spirit.
ain't no one supposed to be in there.
First one to
Yeah.
Oh,
always
so you were
get there.
just sitting there.
Yeah, she was just sitting
my
there with her
friend thought
friend.
she was funny and left to the restroom and left me there alone.
How did you get in the building if he opened it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It was open.
I've never asked that, I've never asked.
Are we talking to a ghost right now? We don't even know it.
How did y'all get
Yeah.
It was open. I think the pastor was there or something. Yeah, the
Yeah.
pastor was there.
Oh, okay.
He said go in
Yeah.
and they'll be here because we were early. So my friend, right when they were coming, she knew they were coming and left to the restroom and just left me there. So I was like, hi.
And you were in high school at the time?
No, I had graduated like a year already.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this was just high school friends.
Yeah,
over
so
there.
she was my friend. Then, yeah.
And so when you saw her, I thought you were going to say it was like love at first
That's what I
sight.
thought,
That's
right?
No, like,
was it that plus the ghost thing?
No.
Or he said, let me not get you in trouble.
I know you want the love story and stuff, but where my heart was at the time, I wasn't really interested in finding anyone or really trying to be like romantic and stuff. Like my time was literally being like, I want to serve God.
Oh, okay.
I had as well just became a Christian. It was like what, like 08, 09 that we met, and I had became a Christian in 06.
Oh.
So I was just like,
you got promoted quick.
yeah.
They said here, now you teach the children.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
some trust.
it literally was when it was
Okay.
like that. It was literally was like that.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. When I became a youth leader there, the pastor wasn't able to give because he was the one giving the classes or the services, and he one day was like, I have to go somewhere else. I'm gonna go preach somewhere, so we're gonna cancel it. And all the youth was like, no, don't cancel it. He could do it. And I was like, what you mean I could do it? Like, I taught kids. I was in the kids ministry, right? I was like, I teach kids. Like, no. And they're all like, no, do it. Do it. And I was like, all right, cool. I'm gonna do it. So I went home. I studied. I did my little Bible study. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna teach. And I did great. I guess.
You taught like the whole church. Like,
the youth.
The youth of that. Okay.
Yeah. And
we just kept.
And then from there on, they're like, all right, cool, stay there. And I was like, okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Come on, willing servant. That's.
Yeah.
Were you worried at all about like the fact that you were still kind of new in the faith? Were you like, oh, I'm still trying to get a grasp on this, or did you feel like?
No, I felt comfortable by that time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, by that time I kind of felt comfortable in what I believed in.
Oh, okay.
So it kind of came natural. So going back to us, like I wasn't really thinking of relationships, but it just sparked up. We started hanging out. Like I used to do a lot of outside activities with the youth. Either we go out to eat or we go out to the movies, or so in order to keep her friend involved with us, I was like, well, bring your friend, like, nothing between us. But then from there, it kind of was like,
bring the ghost.
And not the holy one.
Bring the friendly ghost.
Yeah, so.
What I'm trying to say with that.
And then it just kind of sparked, like a relationship sparked from that, from us kind of getting to know each other. And just randomly one day, me and my friends were gonna go bowling, and I was like, well, we're gonna be in Moreno Valley. You live in Moreno Valley, like, let's hang out. Like, come by. And she actually showed up. So it was like no longer her friend coming. It was like, oh, let's just hang out. And I think from there, it just kind of like sparked interest.
So when did the first romance start?
You want to tell you the truth? You want to tell us the truth?
Yeah, I want to know
Don't
the truth.
lie.
What truth?
Oh, what?
Listen,
Still in the
You want us to
holy.
tell you
No.
the truth?
no, we went to the movies. A couple of our friends, we all went to the movies.
Okay.
But I invited her to go to the movies, right?
Oh.
And then her friend was there, and she was already dating this one guy, and they're like, you know what, like, we don't like this movie, we're gonna skip out. And she walked out with them, and I was like, what are you doing? Like, I invited you, and it didn't click to her, and I was like, I think that's when it hit me, like, am I really having feelings for her? Like, 'cause it bugged me.
Yeah.
I'm all right, cool.
He's like, I don't.
So then that night I didn't text her or anything, and she's all like, huh, okay, cool. Then Monday came by and we didn't text her, and I was just like, are you okay? I was like, okay, cool.
Are you okay? Okay. Cool.
I was like, yeah, you know what? Like, I guess, like, since you don't get it, like, I think I'm having feelings for you, and it kind of bugged me that you walked out at the movies. Like, I invited you, and you walked out with your friends. Like, I thought you were there for me. Like, I literally said, I thought you were there for me. But okay, cool.
Did you like him at the time, like romantically, or did you think y'all were just hanging out like friends?
I think it hit me there too.
That you liked
because
him?
our age difference, like I was 19, he was 29, so I was like, no way, right?
Yeah. No, and the
You
age,
thought that it wasn't
Yeah,
enough
like-
because
Yeah.
of it.
Because with us, I don't know if my mom was, but like older man, like no, like you know?
yeah.
Oh.
And for a
Yeah.
while,
So I
I think
didn't
that's why I
even
kind of
think-
kept it to myself. I was like, no, like, I'm older, like, it's cool. But then, like, I would pray about it, and it wouldn't go away. And I was like, man, well, maybe if I say it, if she says no, like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'm grown enough and adult enough to be like, all right, cool.
And what'd you say? When he was like, I thought you were there for me, I think I like you.
And I remember just like, because he texted me, we were texting, and I was just like, oh my god, like it hit me like I was trying to be honest with myself,
He
like
is
I
kinda
did like
cute.
him.
All right.
I do like him.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and then we started dating in October. Yes, we met in May, and then we started dating until October. But like all this time, like we became friends, like really good friends.
Yeah.
So yeah, it just kind of like happened.
And then you ended up going to her church after you guys
Yeah.
started dating, or just
Well,
because you...
Yeah, because we started dating, and then within like like a year or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Could have been like a year, huh? I was like, okay, like, well, how long do you date as a Christian? You know, like I didn't know, right? So I was
Good
like,
question.
and then I literally asked me like, are we gonna get married or like what are we doing? I was like,
Oh, you said, are we getting
and I
married?
was like,
Do you have a
okay,
ring?
okay.
Have you been saving? Okay.
Yeah.
It's because at our church
You
at
did
that
good.
time,
You did
Yeah,
really well.
that's beautiful, girl. I was eyeing it earlier. I said,
at our time at that church, all the preaching was like, do you know your purpose? And you know you have to be in your purpose. I was like, well, are you really my purpose? And are you the one, basically? So that's why I was like, well, is he the one? Because I don't want to kind of waste my time.
Yeah.
yeah, literally that's what it was.
Because I was like, I can't say like, I always thought to myself like, I don't want to tell someone I love you if he's not even the one.
oh.
Like I want to say I love you to one person, and I
Ooh.
did.
Had you never said it before?
No.
Oh, so he's the only person
Yeah.
who said I love you.
Oh.
He's my
that's
first
beautiful.
everything.
Oh, look at God.
Oh.
Look
Yeah.
at
Who said it
God.
first? I always have to ask
I
who said it
can't say
first.
that.
You said it first.
Yeah.
I said it
And
first.
did you say it back or were you not ready at the time?
I wasn't ready.
So you didn't
I
say it
ready,
back?
didn't? No, I wasn't ready.
So what
I didn't
happened?
say
He
it.
said it and you just, what you said, thank you?
I was just like, I was shocked. I think because it was like my first, so I was like,
But what did you say?
I can't remember.
Because I'm like, what happens when you tell someone I love you and then...
She did the same thing. He said, I love you. She said, okay.
That's nice.
Wait, okay, so at the time you were 29 going into your third year,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
were you thinking marriage? Like, since you were like older, was marriage on your mind after you were already in that whole
I
romantic
think
stage?
by that time I kind of was. I didn't go into it like really thinking like, okay, the next person I date I'm gonna marry,
Okay.
right? But then once we started like connecting and really talking about it, so the whole church thing, like I prayed about it, and I remember like getting this verse, and God really like on my own study time, I went into Deuteronomy and like it says in verse 1:6 or something like that, it says you've been at this mountain for too long. It's time for you to get up and go. So my prayer was like, okay, God, like if I'm gonna marry her, like, do I bring her to my church? But like, and I used to visit her church, and I used to be like, man, like,
Fire.
there's something different over there.
She said, it was
Yeah.
yeah, I
I'm
got
like-
a little room in the back. You got the fire,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah. So I was like, okay, God, like, how do I bring her? Like, I don't want her to die spiritually. Like, you know, like what's gonna happen? And then when I got that verse, I was like, this was like whatever, like say like a Monday night, right? And then I got that verse on my own Bible, like my study time, and I was like, okay, cool. Go to sleep, wake up, go to work, open up my email, and I get this devotional, and I'm reading through the devotional, and there it is again. I was like,
Oh, wow.
I'm like, oh my
same.
God. And then comes Wednesday, I go visit her at her house, and me and one of her friends, we're all talking. I'm like, oh yeah, hey, can I use your computer? Yeah, I jump on again. I was like, oh, there it is again.
Why was it on your computer?
It was like a devotional
Yeah.
too.
Oh,
And I was
that's
like, oh my
amazing.
God, like, all right, I think you're trying to tell me something. So I went into prayer, and then like her pastor was like a prophet. So I was like, you know, can I have a conversation with you? Like, I need some advice. And he's like, yeah, you know what? Like, go and speak to your pastor. If he tells you this, and that, you know it's God speaking to you, and it's time to go. And literally, like, word by word, what that prophet told me was exactly what that pastor told me.
Wow.
And I was like, and you know, we had a little discussion there, and when a lot of people leave church and whatnot, you know, there's conflicts or whatnot most of the times. But since I had heard that and I had already been in prayer, I was kind of like respectful about it. And I was like, thank you, sir, for everything that you've done for me, for the time here. I really love you guys. Thank you so much. And
Same
I'm
day?
out. Same week.
Oh, okay.
Same week.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's an honorable way to be in
Yeah.
a position to really follow God's
Yeah.
voice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, and then when you went to her church, did you get involved there too? And like, since now you're like a youth pastor, were you like?
With the sound,
Yeah.
you started with the sound.
Yeah. So I started with the sound system, doing the.
Because I was in
Like
the worship
ABs?
group.
Yeah.
Oh, you sing?
No.
What were you doing on the
What were you doing there?
What were you doing?
Back singing. What's it called? Back.
Like background?
Yeah.
Singing background? Oh, okay, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
But I don't really sing. I never thought I'd sing, but they had me there.
Okay.
So they had me
I
on the
wanna
sound.
see you.
So I was always at worship practice, so that's where he joined with the sound, and
Oh,
he kind of got involved.
Slick.
Yeah.
That's smart. So you make sure y'all at the same rehearsal,
Yeah.
the same night,
Yeah.
after church, the same teams. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it worked out. It worked out. So.
Okay. Oh, okay. So fast forward a little bit. When
Rewind a little bit
Oh, okay,
because
okay.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you said about your mother and older men, and it was a problem.
Yeah.
So when y'all started dating, when did the problem start? That your mom said, "Yeah, okay, you could be with this older
Yeah.
man."
Oh yeah, was it?
I remember meeting her mom, and her mom asking. I don't know if I met her mom until we
Was at
officially.
church.
Oh yeah, we're at church.
Well,
At
I told my
church.
mom he's coming, and she was like, it was at church day. It was a Wednesday. I was like, he's coming, so you could meet her. And she was like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was like a really it was a big age difference. So, and then what happened that day you met her? I think she was just
Cool.
kind of like short about it.
Oh,
But then
she's-
she like got to know him, and she loves
Yeah.
it.
Okay.
Yeah.
She
Okay.
loves him.
So it wasn't like a battle. It was
No.
just like, okay, meet him.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah.
But I remember when I met her, since there was such an age difference, she was like, "Are you sure you don't have other kids? Like, I want to make sure." And I was like, "No." Like, but like it surprised me because I was like, "That's the question you're coming?" I'm like, "No, I don't have kids." Like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So
All right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Are you the baby of the family?
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So it was
And I was a
I
baby.
could tell about that.
Oh.
I could tell about that one. Mhm.
And are you the baby or the oldest?
I'm the middle
child.
child.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's
him.
me.
He's the middle
Yeah.
child. Okay. So I'm curious to know, so that you fast forward, you guys get engaged,
Mhm.
right? Did you have a conversation about that before? Like, I mean, when she asked you, did you say like, okay, yeah, I'm looking at marriage, or did you just kind of spring it on her one day, like, hey, will you marry me?
Yeah,
Or
we
surprise?
talked about it. We talked about it. You know, like she says, like at our church, we always thought, we were, like, within the preachings, it was always like very like, you know, what's your purpose? What are you gonna do in life? And
Is it God's will?
yeah, what's God's will for your life? And I was like really thinking, like, I've always kind of known like what God's been calling me to do. So I was kind of like, okay, well, like, and to me, like, I always told her, like, one of the things that I really loved about her when I met her and like serving within the church, she's always been like a person that people respect within the church. And I was kind of like, I caught on to that. I was like, wow, like I could see myself next to you, you know? So, no, but so like she really was a person that served, and I was like, yeah, I think, you know, that would work out. As far as relationship, when we start talking about dating and stuff and like marriage, I think, yeah, we kind of talked about it, but then when I proposed to her, it was kind of like
In front of the whole church.
so it was very like she
nice.
gets
Yeah,
listen.
Oh, that's
She
you
gets
don't-
me for this. She gets me for this, right?
Because it was in public?
no.
No, because I didn't go down on one knee.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the one thing. That's the one thing she gets me for.
You ain't
Eight-
get on the knee.
8 years.
No, but there's a reason why.
8
There's a
years, I
re-
still tell them.
There's a reason why though. Well, see, like, because the church was very traditional, right? So every boyfriend, girlfriend that went into like they're gonna get engaged and married, they would bring them up and propose.
Oh,
So I was
super
like, I told her,
predictable.
yeah, I told her, look, we were at a stage in the church where it expanded and it grew. So they had just remodeled the church. And I was like, okay, well, I just
Like,
got...
it was like a celebration of
Yeah,
the church.
I
So
had
it
just,
had-
it was during the season, I usually get a bonus at work, right? So I was like, this money is for that ring. I'm going to get that ring. And if I get the ring and then they say yes, like, I'm going to do it. I'm just going to tell them. So I talked to the apostle, and I talked to his wife, and I was like, I want to propose. So the wife was like, yes, do it. And I was like, well, I don't know what, you know, like, I don't know what you guys do. Like, but I just see all these people coming up to the front. Like, you guys do the ring stuff and that's it. So, you know, I didn't know. So they took the ring. They took the ring and they prayed over us, and they're like, okay. They called her mom over, like, you put the ring on her hand. And I was like, so I never saw the ring back. It never came back to me. So I was
your
like,
mom put it on your hand?
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
so I never saw the ring back.
Where are we at?
Yeah.
What's going on? Am I having a stroke?
I'm
Yeah.
confused because he
Let's
said
go.
he don't watch 10 people do this, and he said he didn't know. Did they get on their knee?
No, not the other
Well,
people.
because I think they proposed before.
Yeah, they would propose
And then
before.
when they came to the church, they like presented
Oh.
it to
Oh, so y'all had a whole
Okay.
tradition.
Yeah.
So you ain't never seen a movie that somebody got on one knee and you didn't think that
They're
you
like,
had to do that?
It's once in a lifetime. Do it. You'll never hear the end of it.
Oh, so you didn't.
And you're probably nervous.
No, but it was
too.
yeah, I was nervous, you know, but I think to
It was
my
nice. It was nice.
yeah, to mine is like it was the most beautiful one ever. Because everyone else did it like on their own at dinner. It was like, oh, cute, you know. And by the time they got to church, it was like, all right,
Oh,
cool.
no
We all knew about it
surprise.
already. Like, what is it, you know?
Okay.
So to us, it's like no one at church knew I was gonna do it.
Aw.
So when I did it, well, I went and talked to David, and I went and talked to her mom, and I was like,
You guys are my dad?
well,
David.
her dad's a truck driver, so he was never home.
Okay.
Oh, you did ask him.
But I did ask him, but he couldn't be there, so I was like, well, I'm gonna do it that day, you know. So then it's kind of like they were the only ones they knew.
I mean, he did all the logistical things. I mean, it's just a knee.
Yeah.
Did you cry?
Look, I've done it many times
'cause
before.
I didn't know. What?
I'm like, let's do it again. Here you go. I'll do it.
She's like, no, get the whole church back together. Everybody
Look
sit
good.
exactly where you were.
I'll do it for birthdays. I do it for anniversaries. Like, baby, look.
That's so romantic. But you were surprised. You
Yeah,
cried.
I
It
was surprised.
Okay. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And then you said you had a short engagement. You said like
Yeah.
6 months
6
or
months.
so, just because you were like, no need to draw it out, or you had
Yeah.
a date in mind that you wanted.
Yeah, I think we had dated already enough to know each other, and so we kind of just.
I think it's going to say with October. Since we started dating October 25th, then we got married October 15th. So I think I want to say that October
Yeah.
month.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, 6 months.
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys have 2 beautiful children, right? How old are they?
Brianna is 6 and Elisha is 3.
Okay, and then was that something that you guys talked about, like before, like in prenatal counseling, like we want to have 2 kids, or we want to wait a few years before we have kids, or did it just happen the way?
Yeah, we
God
planned it.
intended? You planned it.
Yeah, I think we did want
At
to.
least they got the plan there. 'Cause we surely didn't get to plan this one. But all right,
Yeah.
go ahead. Let me hear the plan.
Yeah, we planned to like, okay, let's do like a year or 2 years, just us, and then I don't like a year and a half or a year or something, huh? We got pregnant with Brianna, and then once we had her, like, oh, how long are we gonna wait for the next one? Like, I don't know, like 2 years. I think 2-year gap is good, and then we had Elisha.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And
So
so you guys are you guys from here? Like your families are here, and you have that like support
Yes.
system, or
Yeah.
okay? So you guys have
Do
because
they
I'm
want
like.
another baby to watch sometimes? Maybe?
Yeah.
Because I'm like, you guys have family here, so you have like
Yeah.
childcare built
Yeah.
in, or do you have to like? Did you guys have to figure that out once you did start a family because you know like work and everything else, or did you guys already just have like people in place?
Well, after like with Brianna, I was a stay-at-home mom, so I stayed.
Oh,
But like anytime I needed something, it would be my mom or his
Yeah.
mom or
Yeah.
my sister-in-law Gabby.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, so it's
okay.
just like
Yeah.
a couple people that we.
Is Gabby your sister?
No,
David's your brother.
it's her brother.
David's your brother. Oh, okay. I don't think that.
I know, you can't tell, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
get
okay.
it.
I thought you guys were all
Yeah.
close friends. Okay.
Got it.
And you're
Yeah.
the youngest.
Yeah.
So it's just me and David.
Oh, okay. I didn't know
Yeah.
that. Okay. Good to know. Good to know.
Yeah.
Okay, so you
But
guys
Gabby loves the
are
kids.
from this area,
Moreno Valley,
Yeah.
yeah.
So you guys have family local, so that definitely helped. But how did you? Because were both of you working like after Brianna? Were you guys? Oh, you got to be stay at home.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
that's
stayed.
awesome.
Yeah.
And did you guys agree on
Don't
that?
get no ideas. Cause you going to work.
I got my ideas. Figure. I got my just teach me. Okay, what did you say? Have that conversation.
No.
Is that something you guys talked about, like agreed on, or was it just like, oh, this makes sense? I'm gonna stay
Yeah.
home?
Yeah,
No,
it
we
just
didn't.
happened.
We just happened. It
Oh,
just
okay.
happened, you know. So.
It just happened. It's just gonna happen.
It ain't gonna.
You said she invited you. You didn't know that.
I rebuke that in the name of Jesus. I rebuke it.
In Jesus' name. Amen. I received that. Okay.
Promotion.
Okay, yeah. That, I get double salary, and then
He can do all
Yeah,
things.
all right, perfect, cool.
Yeah.
About to get a record deal and everything.
Yes.
Perfect.
Bring it in.
I know. 'Cause, we have those conversations, and
Yeah.
because we're not
Yeah.
from here, our family's on the East Coast, and so we're kind of like, who do you trust your children
Yeah.
with? But it seems like most of the people who we know here, they're from here, so they have like
Yeah.
family,
Yeah.
they have parents or at least like siblings, who they can trust, and I
Yeah.
mean, granted. Did you have babysitters in daycare when you were younger? Or like,
I don't remember.
I remember having babysitter, daycare, preschool.
I remember being
like
in
that.
preschool, but I don't remember.
Yeah,
I
so.
think my grandmother was around though.
I
But
remember.
I was safe, nothing happened. But I'm like, I don't know if I would.
Yeah.
It's different.
Yeah.
You
I
hear some
remember
stories.
growing up, and my parents would be like, "Hey, we're gonna go to the store, watch TV. We'll be back."
That was the TV wasn't there.
Yeah. Lock
And
the,
don't
don't
open
open
this
the door.
door.
Don't open this door to anybody. And I was
But
like, "Alright,
nowadays
cool."
it's so.
Yeah.
It's different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
I
know
don't
who
think
to
I got those
trust.
privileges till I was maybe 12.
Yeah.
or
No,
so.
like I remember being
Yeah.
like 7, 8.
Really?
Like, all right, cool.
And you had older siblings.
Yeah.
Too,
I have
yeah.
my older sister is like 2 years
Oh my
older
God.
than me.
Oh,
So
okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. So that's one of the conversations we're having. So I was like to ask people like, how do you work
Yeah.
it out? So
yeah, her mom's been a real great support for us. So
And she'll be a great support for us as well. Hey, Mom.
yeah.
we need to get to know her.
You guys have our number. Bring her over.
We need to get to know her. Okay, so now you serve at our church currently as one of the pastors, right? And what exactly is your capacity there? How did you come into that role there?
So, Apostle came and spoke to me, and it was. I'm gonna backtrack a little bit because you mentioned about the photography stuff.
Oh yeah, he has a photography
I
company.
just found out yesterday.
Yeah,
I was
I
like,
follow the page. Yeah, is it all wedding stuff? Like
Yeah.
wedding photography, media.
Yeah, mainly weddings. So, when we got married, she was like, "Let's get a photographer." So then I went into like actually looking into the photography stuff, and the person that shot our wedding was really great. But you always just see the picture side of it, like, oh, great pictures. But when we sat with her, I was like, hey, this is cool. Like, I could do this, right? We got married, we got our pictures, and I don't know how someone else within the church that we were at was like, hey, can you shoot our wedding? Our quinceañera, our
You?
daughters. Yeah, and I was like, me? Like, what makes you guys think? Like, I don't have a camera. Like, oh, you need a camera? Like, oh, we'll find one. And they literally went and asked someone else within the church, like, you have a camera, huh? Like, yeah, let him borrow it. And I was like,
Oh wow.
babe, like, you serious? Like, okay, cool. All right. So I shot it for them. I made an album for them. And, like, from there, it just sparked.
Wow.
So that was in 2012-ish that I started doing that.
Yeah.
But then when we came to All Nations, I clearly heard God say, like, clear up your calendar. So typically around October, November, December is when I start booking for the following year. And I heard God say that, and I was like, what do you mean? Like, I'm trying to get weddings for 2019. Like, what's going on? Like, I was like, all right, cool. I canceled the account that I had where I book weddings. And literally Apostle calls me, like, I want to talk to you. Like, all right, cool. So, like, I was praying about it, and I think, I want to bring you on as a pastor to help us with the Spanish-speaking community. And I was like, that's why you wanted me to clear my calendar. I was like, yeah, I'd be delighted. It's an honor for me to serve, like, yeah, definitely. And that's how I came on to being a pastor at All Nations.
Wow.
So we currently serve our Spanish-speaking, which is a small community right now, but, there's a few of us that are bilingual there. And then we're praying about each one of us. I think we have family members that we could bring along and invite. I've invited a few family
I
members.
gotta learn some more songs.
Yeah. Like, you've been doing, you're doing amazing. Yeah.
They said I don't have an accent when I sing.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't say it. But go ahead.
Yeah.
I didn't say it.
No, it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I had to run. I was translating, I think, that day, and I had to take my stuff down and run up there with my phone. I was like, oh my God. But yeah, so we're there serving, so I'm really, it's a great honor for us to serve and help in the community and help in the church.
And is it beyond Sundays that you guys serve, or
Yeah.
'cause I'm sure there's things that we probably
Yeah.
don't know about that you guys are
Yeah,
doing in your role.
Yeah, so, well, as a pastor, you get, like, obviously a broad things to do. I don't just serve the Spanish community. I also serve, help counsel other people, whoever requests counseling, whoever requests discipleship and stuff like that. Like, it goes to various, like, all the pastors that are there. So we all get some of that stuff.
And you get training for that?
Yeah.
Or did you already have kind of that background before you came with, like, discipleship and counseling?
We actually took classes. So before we came to All Nations, I was the youth pastor at our old church, and I was overseeing the Moreno Valley church itself. and yeah, any person that got married prior to them getting married, they'd come through us, and
You guys did the
and
premarital
we
counseling?
did that.
Oh,
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, so, and then just life in general. Once you know, things that God just places inside you, like to counsel someone or to give them a word or to pray over someone, it kind of just stirs up inside you to do so.
And I've never asked you, Joanna, but how do you serve? Like, what's your role? Because I always feel like I see you all around, but then you're also so like quiet and doing your things. I'm like, oh, like what is?
Well,
she
right
doing?
now she's just teaching. I'm just with the kids.
Okay, so you're in Kids Inc.
Yeah,
Okay. Oh,
so that's
yeah,
what I'm
I
doing
just
right
started
now.
nursery.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's
Yeah, but then I was also doing the special outreach, but it's just like seasonal. It's like Easter, back to school, and Christmas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then when you guys do counseling stuff, do you do it together, or is it like a joint thing? Oh,
Yeah. So for right now, like I'll do it on my own. So.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, before we were doing it together. So I always think of I forget who I was talking to the other day, but I was like, as far as if I counseled a woman, I would try to always have my wife next to me.
Yeah, that's
just
what I
to
was wondering.
make them feel comfortable, and it's not even for myself. It's like protection for myself, because sometimes it's like people come to counseling to you or pick you just to try to spend time with you, and it's like, oh, like they're so nice.
Protect
and,
yourself.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I was like, Joanna, come be next to me. And I would literally sometimes they would come up to me like in the middle of service, like, can we talk right after church? And I was like, yeah, cool, babe. Hurry up. Come next to me. Like what you want to hear, you know, like, and I would always tell them, you know, my wife, as far as like we've been in ministry, anything she's ever heard is like within us, you know, and I always tell the people who will come to counseling with me is like anything you speak of, unless I really need to take it up to the apostles or the pastors above me, like, you know, it's confidential. You know, we'll keep it in prayer and you know, pray over you. But if I feel the need that I need to bring it up to higher leadership in my area, like I'm gonna take it to them. So.
Oh, that's good. Very transparent. And so, like, okay, so our biggest question, especially in the season that we're in, with like trying to balance. Well, we still kind of feel like newlyweds, and now soon to be parents.
Do I feel like a newlywed?
I do. what do you feel like?
I mean, I feel like we got a little groove now. I ain't saying
Yeah,
we
got
old.
a groove. I want to be like
do I feel like
forever
a
newlywed. You know, just that fresh feeling. Like,
Well, you better keep it fresh.
Yeah, I keep it fresh. I keep it fresh.
All right.
But like, you know, we want to
All
know,
right.
how is it that you find balance? You know,
Yeah.
we hear a lot about people burning out in ministry, or even just in church alone, even if they're not serving. So serving in the capacities that you serve in, you know, you're doing the whole mommy thing full time to 2 kids, and they're still young, so they have a lot of requirements, you know, with like school and just training. And then you like with the pastoral role, so like between ministry, you know, keeping your own marriage fresh, parenthood, and then you're working, and you have the media, you know, the photography business as well. Like, how do you juggle that, and how do you not get burnt out and say, I'm sick of this church, I'm sick of these kids, I'm sick of, you know, like,
I'm listening.
yeah, because we've had a lot of conversations about burnout.
We Apostle said it one time, like openly, I don't know if it was a preaching or whatnot, but then he also said it just to us. I try to do something with my children prior to us having like a big event, right? So like when they have to be at church for so many hours and so long of you know, days after days, it's like I allow either before or after I do something with them, and I was like, hey, that's a great idea, because we do get busy. So even like today was like our free day. We didn't really have anything to do as far as ministry, so I was like, hey, let's just hang out. And I woke up early because so that's one thing that I've been doing. Like I manage my time differently now. So at my work, I have like a window of time I could come in. So it's either 5 in the morning, from 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. And then do my 8 hours.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I've been pushing to come in earlier, to leave earlier, and be able to come home and spend time with my kids, spend time with Joanna. Because if I get in at 8, I work in Irwindale, West Covina area. By the time I get back to Myrtle Valley, it'll be 7, and the kids are out. Elisha will knock out at 7. So I'm like,
so you missed the whole
and I'm like, I hate coming home and like he's out. Yeah. So I switched my schedule up for them. And then as far as ministry, like there's things that we have to study and need to learn. So
y'all have a lot on your plate.
At work, I'll find time to, either I eat and like I'm snacking and I'm reading. Saturday, like today, I woke up early and I was like, should I go back to bed? And I was like, no, I got this other book I got to read. So I went downstairs and I jumped on the book and I was reading it. And then Brianna woke up early today, so she was up at 6:40, and I was like, oh, she's up. I can't keep reading. And I was quiet down there. I was like, okay. And then so like that's the way I manage my time. I was like, either I wake up earlier or stay up later. And as far as work, I try to like push it early so I could be home and be with them. So yeah.
And for me, like with ministry, like he's just a pastor, so not me. So like he has to go to work to church early.
Feels
so
like
like,
work sometimes. Okay.
So it's like, okay,
Felt like
you
work
go,
last week.
and I stay home with the kids, get ready, and then go. So we don't have the kids like so much long. And then he stays after church, and I come home. So I like try to help him out too, not so much kid.
Yeah, I know it's hard on her, but she's like literally, I honor her, I respect it. Like I thank her so much for everything that she's been doing. Because I know it's a lot for me to do, but then like also I know like she's been. I can't do that with I can't serve if without her. Like she may not be serving next to me, but it's like I have my children. You guys see my boy at church. He does not let me go. He loves being with me.
He loves
and for me it's like okay, like him staying at Kids Inc. is like it's like work of her. Like I'm gonna be serving there and like he'll get used to it and. Like that kind of helped us out too. So.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna ask, do you ever feel like limited in the areas you want to serve because you still have this role of supporting? Because like one of my close friends, we've had that conversation about like there's like a season sometimes where you're really just focusing on husband and kids, and then there's other seasons where you have more freedom to maybe I'll try serving this versus pulling back. Have you experienced that?
Yeah, because technically I could join another group right now, but I'm just like. Because if he has to go in early, and other groups expect you to go in early, so I'm like, what about the kids?
Yeah. Okay.
So it's like I need someone like an hour. Like, are you gonna watch the kids or do I watch the kids? So yeah, like I'm still thinking about what other group I need to join, but the kids.
Yeah.
That's
fine.
That scares me a little bit. I ain't gonna lie. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Who's giving up what?
Yeah.
Who's giving up what?
Because I thought about it, because even like right now, like I'm serving with the deliverance team, and then I had my first serve with the nursery, and just seeing if that's something I'm going to continue with. And I was fairly new, but like my first serve with them, it was like unexpected one. I was like filling in for someone, but then when I'm thinking about like, well, the Sundays that he's singing, like I really have to be like there present, whether it's just preparing stuff that I know that he needs like before and after, or just like interceding. Like I like to be there in the room. So I'm just like, I don't like being in the room. I got no TV. Like, I don't know, So how's that gonna work? You want me to start having times a week? Like, well, how is this gonna work? And so I'm thinking like, even with like having a baby, I'm like, I wonder how that's going to impact it, because I love to serve also, but a lot of times when we're in places, I count it an honor and privilege like to serve him, but I know sometimes people are kind of looking like, well, like how are you serving the church, or like what are you doing? Or like I remember when he first started, and like they're like, oh, anyone who's not serving in the sanctuary, we need you to leave. And in my mind, I'm like, oh, I'm serving, but then to them they're like, and what team are you serving with? And I'm like, Team Stokes. Right. So I was like, let me sign up for something and see. But yeah, that commitment, like you mentioned, and then with his increasing responsibilities, just making sure that he's up and prepared and has, a schedule. We're still working that kind of thing out. So
I think as far as you guys keep it open communication within each other, because sometimes it's like I may know what I need to do, but if I don't tell her, like, oh, you know what, I have to do this. What do you mean you have to, like, what? I'm like,
that sounds familiar.
Yeah. So like it literally
a dump truck. Like, hey, I have all of this. That's why you have an attitude.
So I'm like, what's going on? What? Okay.
Yeah. So I think like it build up that communication within each other. Yeah. And like if like both ways, like I know like the days that she needs to serve, I'm like, okay, like that's that day. Like, okay, what can I do? Like, and it's at first, like now with the study that we're doing, it's like, oh, I gotta leave extra earlier. Yeah. So before it's like I get up and I would get at least Elisha ready, and like, okay, baby, like Elisha's ready, I gotta go. All right, he's done. I made breakfast today. Like, okay, you good?
You good?
So like, I would try to do something to help her out, and I'll, take the weight off of her for whatever she had to do before leaving to church. So
That's why I'm always late, but I'm trying.
And see, I don't even notice, probably because, we struggle with the time thing.
Yeah.
And we ain't even got the baby here yet.
Right?
Yeah, and we usually go together, so if he's there early, I'm there, because I'm like, I don't want to driving two cars and separate, and normally like to talk on the way back, so I'm like, I don't have to leave separately, but it makes for long days, especially like...
Yeah, we tried it at first with the kids, but it was like, it's too much of a time. Like they're either, like, what are we doing with them? Like, so... Now we just go separate cars. So.
Yeah. Oh, that's good advice. We definitely have to take heed to that in this next season.
Y'all keep us lifted up in prayer. I'm serious.
Yeah.
In a serious way.
Definitely.
Keep us lifted.
Yeah. When we had Just a Brianna, like it was a constant, huh? We've always been serving together in ministry. Always. So I was a youth pastor, but I oversee like kind of Pastor Maisha, like overseed all the the generations, like all the teens, the preteens, the kids, the infants. We overseed everything, and then plus helping out with the church in general. So we were always together serving, and it was always just us and Brianna. When we had Elisha, so Elisha has Down syndrome, so that kind of like threw another twist at us because it's like, what is it, like special needs? How much special needs? Like what is it, But it's been a challenge for us, and it hasn't, because it's like, oh, he's just a baby, just like any other baby. So it's like, but obviously, like you see another 3-year-old, and you'll be like, oh, can you sit down? And you sit at 3, and then Elisha's like, can you sit? Okay, cool. Like, no. Like, I'm going. Like, I'm going over there.
He's supposed to run.
Yeah. So it's different. It's different, but it's definitely like, it's something that we kind of, I always like, when we prayed about it, literally like the book we've been reading today is like, leave everything in God's hands. Like He's in control of everything, and He's already planned everything out and kind of knows ahead of time everything that we're gonna go through. Week 5. Yeah. So when we had Elisha and they told us that he was gonna have Down syndrome, I was like, okay, God, like I'm gonna need to trust you. Like I could pray, God, like I believe God could do anything. I was like, okay, God, do I pray and I ask you to take this away? Do I pray and like what happens? Like okay. And it was like, okay, like we are gonna have a son that has Down syndrome. And I was like, God, if he's healthy, that's it. Like we'll deal with the challenges as far as learning, as far as him growing. Like, we'll take, if you gave him to us and you allow him to live, like we know you have everything in order. Yeah. And everything's gonna be okay. Yeah. Wow. And literally, like, it's been God's hand over us. And so, like, with ministry, it's like, okay, God, like, today is challenging and today is tiring, and Elisha doesn't want to, And sometimes, and with my daughter, they're at that age where, like, why do you hug him more? Why don't you carry me? And I'm like, you're 6 years old. You're a third of me. Like, I'm like, I'll carry you something, and like, I don't know if you guys notice, sometimes like at worship I'll grab her and I'll carry her, because that's her, like, oh, I want to be the baby, like, hug me, so I'll carry her. But so it's balancing even between them two, like the love that you share, like, because she always asks me, like, who do you love more? Like, I love all of you. And then even with her, she made me take her out on a date the other day. Because we went out on a date, and she's like, you just took her out on a date? And I was like, yes. Well, you love her more. Baby, she's my wife. Nope. You love her more. Like, baby, she's my wife. That's why I love her. Nope. Why don't you take me out on a date? I was like, okay, let's go out on a date then. But you're going to have to stay with me till I leave church, and we'll go after. Okay. So we went out on a date. Yeah.
I love y'all are the best.
That was sweet. I liked it. I put me in all the situations though. But I liked it.
Yeah.
Listen, every time we talk about you guys, we're like, they really love each other. Like, you guys really just, like, emit, like, genuine love for each other, genuine friendship. We see you guys, although we see you, like, separately in the church doing your own thing, it's still, like, your whole family is just, like, such a team unit, And so even, like, hearing you guys speak, Team Cancholas. Like,
hashtag Team Cancholas.
So we love, like, and so the advice that you gave, we take it to heart, because clearly it's working, for you guys, and you know, even even I'm sure you have seasons where you're tired, but
Yeah.
you guys always seem to be glad to be there, glad to be serving, glad to make time for people, you know. So we appreciate the service
Yeah,
that y'all
thank
give.
you.
Seriously.
Can I ask one more question?
Yeah.
You know, I know we're over time, whatever.
You're good.
How did you guys feel? Because, you know, we're having a girl first.
Yeah.
How did you feel
I was
when you're
happy.
having a girl first?
Yeah.
I was
I don't-
happy.
Cause it's weird. Cause I didn't really. Everyone, you know, like as a man, they're like, oh, you want the boy.
Yep.
You know.
I can tell the truth now.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, but like, so my family thought like, oh, the boy, you know, and I was like, and then, you know, I'm the only man in my family. So I have two
Oh.
sisters, so they're like,
Okay.
oh, the boy, and I was like,
They
like,
carry the
but
name.
why? Like, I'm good, like whatever God wants. And I was like, we went in there like, it's gonna be a girl. I was like, oh, cool.
Oh, you were cool.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm
I'm
like,
happy.
yeah. No, she's been amazing. She like literally like girls will steal your heart. Like my son loves me and he like always wants to be with me, but like she has a way of always getting to you. Like so.
That's
Yeah.
what everyone's been
That's
saying.
what
Yeah.
everybody- yep.
She's gonna
And the
steal your heart.
clothes, all the clothes.
Yeah,
that
she
you
tells
buy.
me like because we love each other, but she doesn't love to cuddle. Right? So my daughter would be
You
like,
can save that for the.
oh. But my daughter would be like, Daddy, can you put me to sleep? Yeah, baby. So I'll hug her and she'll literally be like, and I'm like, oh, you love to cuddle. Yeah, but no, she's great. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's so funny.
Yeah.
So, okay, we want to do our street light.
Mm-hmm.
Traffic
Traffic
light.
light. I always call it
Girl,
street
it's
light.
been over a year
I'm
now with
sorry.
this show.
I always call it
Please get the
traffic light,
segments
street light.
together.
Yes, so traffic light. For those who don't know, you know, we do our traffic light, meaning green light, something that you want your partner to
Keep
continue
going on.
doing.
Mhm.
Yellow light,
Slow
slow down
down.
a little bit, and then a red light,
Stop.
so you guys have some time to think a little bit before
Yeah.
the show. Who wants to go first?
What?
Okay,
Ladies
Joanne.
first.
Green light.
Oh.
okay.
It's to keep going, right?
Yes.
I think always making me laugh is something he always does. He just keep making me laugh.
Yeah, because you've been a Kiki in for this whole show. Like,
Like, what is going on?
Yeah, I like to laugh. So, something stop doing, or what?
oh, you don't have to do all.
You got
oh,
both.
you
No,
don't get one, but if you
I
have
want to
more,
hear the red light.
if you have more, if you have a yellow
What
or
you want me to
red,
stop
Okay,
doing?
red lights, but for both of us.
Okay.
Stop using the phone so much.
using the
Oh.
phone, like
Yeah.
the cell phone.
Yeah,
Just like being
always,
on it?
be always
Oh,
on it.
okay.
Okay.
More him, but yeah.
You said okay, cool. Okay.
Oh, cool.
She
Right.
said, okay, cool. No.
Green light. I think her she's very genuinely sweet, and that's why I married her. Like she's like very genuinely sweet. Like so that's always stay like that. The red light.
She just be laughing,
You-
be laughing.
It
I
just popped
just
up.
wanna hear
It just popped up right now. Like I swear I didn't think about it
Sure,
earlier.
sure.
Mhm.
But she lost the ring 3 times already.
Oh.
So I want her to
that's
stop doing it. Yeah, that's the red light.
You found it, or did y'all have to replace? Like
I found it.
you found it each time. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Does that freak you out?
Oh, it freaks me out.
The last time I really thought I lost it, like completely lost it. I was crying. I was sad for like a week, and then my mom just looked up and she's like, "Is that your ring?" And she just found it
On the wall, on a nail.
What? You
Do you
put
remember
it
putting
there?
it on the nail?
No.
She a ghost, y'all.
Yeah.
She's still a ghost. She's still a ghost.
Telling
She's
you.
still a ghost.
Doing ghosting.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, I was like so
What?
happy. So now I take care of it.
Oh, you take it off a lot?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So like if I'm washing the dishes,
Everywhere.
I put it there, or
Oh, okay. I
the
see.
microwave.
We just keep it
Yeah,
insured.
well,
Yeah.
I'm waiting for her to lose it. They're gonna give me all that money up from that
Yeah.
insurance.
And I probably won't get it
Yeah.
anyway. He's gonna be like, here, we're gonna take this money and invest it since you wanna play.
Yeah.
Oh, I
And
love
one
it.
time the diamond came off, but they replaced it.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah, we haven't had any problems, thankfully, but we got the insurance because
Yeah.
a friend of ours told us she lost hers
Yeah.
like at the beach, and we were like, that happens because I don't really take it off. But
Yeah.
yeah, good to know. Y'all are so funny. We love
Yeah.
you so much.
Thank
Thank you guys
Thank
for
you.
joining us.
No,
I
thank
love
you.
double dates because you guys have so much knowledge that we have not yet gotten to a place to,
Yeah.
impart. So I know that it's going to be a blessing to those who listen, and really just an example of love and how to honor your partner. 'Cause that's what y'all
Thank you,
do.
guys.
So yeah, so thank you,
Yeah, thank you.
you.
Can you tell us where to follow you?
Oh yes.
So Instagram, Eddie Canchola.
Yes.
And Joanna Canchola.
And your photography page.
Photography is EC Visual Media.
Okay.
I'll put up both.
Yeah.
Yes. Awesome.
Okay. That concludes this episode of Stoked to be the Stokes with Brian Lamar Stokes.
And Ariana Stokes.
If you're not following us on social media, I still don't know what you're doing. We're still on Instagram. We're not on Twitter yet, but we're on Facebook too. Everywhere it's Stoked to be the Stokes, exactly where it sounds. And if you're still not following us on YouTube, well, first of all, with the YouTube, thank you everybody. We got up to 100 subscribers.
We're so excited.
Really appreciate that. So if you're still listening on the podcast, head over to YouTube and follow us there. Thanks. Okay,
Yes.
cool. Thanks.
That's right.
So again, that concludes this episode of Stoked to be the Stokes with Brian Lamar Stokes.
And Ariana Stokes.
And remember, with love,
Faith.
honesty,
And respect.
we'll get through anything. See you next Tuesday.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.